Hello everyone, I am Lorenzo Russo and I am a PhD student in civil engineering at the University of Calabria. This work was realized in collaboration with Jesse Rafeiro from University of Tokyo and Ana Tomé from Istituto Técnico Superior of Lisbon. The National Azulejo Museum is one of the most important national museums in the country. Today, it is well known for its collections of traditional Portuguese style work. However, many visitors to the museum are unaware that the building was a major religious sanctuary of the Portuguese Renaissance. From the 16th to the 19th century, it was known as the monastery of Madre de Deus, serving as a secluded space for collecting nuns. To recover this lost history and allow visitors to appreciate it firsthand, our research aims to reconstruct the building from this initial period in the 16th century, a moment that is least understood by experts today. This presentation focuses on new research on the original church and presents its visualization in augmented reality. The monastery was founded in 1509 by Queen Leonor upon a pre-existing Mudéjar palace along the Tejo River in Lisbon. It was the second oldest Clarissa monastery in Portugal, following the Monastery of Jesus in Setúbal in 1491. Between the 16th and 17th century, following Queen Leonor's death in 1525, King João III initiated major expansion work completed in 1624. These modifications obscured most of the building's original configuration and greatly expanded its footprint. After the extinction of religious orders in Portugal in 1834, the monastery was adapted to the Dona Maria Pia Asylum. A project was undertaken by architect José Maria Nepomuceno in 1871, with the works completed by Liberto Telles in 1899. This conversion recovered the Manueline architectural elements lost during King João III's expansion. The building we see today mostly reflects this 19th century neo-Manueline adaptation. In 1965, the building underwent a final transformation with the installation of the National Tile Museum. In 2009, an inauguration of the Queen took place, leading several scholars to gather available evidence and to debate the primitive origins of the building. Two main hypotheses written by historians resulted from these activities. For Pais and Curvelo, the site of the original church was in a space known today as the Dom Manuel Room. This is based on clues from various written documents. For Simoes, the church would span across the spaces of the low choir and Dom Manuel Room. This is based on a conceptual link between older precedents of the Reformed collecting order, such as the Monastery of Jesus in Setúbal and the Convent of Saint Clare in Gandia. These hypotheses are based on a literal interpretation of the arrival of the relics of Saint Auta painting of the 16th century, which depicts the river to the south of the church facade. However, these hypotheses must first be tested against other available sources and religious objects housed within them. Reconstructing the 16th century Madre de Deus is challenging, since no single source offers a complete description, and because it existed only briefly in time. Today, the following main sources have been used for the reconstruction research: a chronicle known as News of the Founding of the Madre de Deus Convent, several paintings such as Arrival of the Relics of Saint Auta, and also Saint Francis delivering the statues of the order to Saint Clare and triptych of the Presentation of the Child in the Temple, then a contract for the church of the monastery of Nossa Senhora da Rosa, and 19th century floor plans and elevation by the architect José María Napuceno. The drawing is color-coded, including elements in dark gray, which are elements that were found and kept, yellow, which are elements that were found and demolished, and red, which were new interventions. The research builds upon earlier visual reconstructions where students from the integrated master's course in HBIM at Instituto Superior Técnico in Lisbon created digital models of existing spaces and developed hypotheses related to the monastery's original 16th century core, including the church, Arab room, low choir, and small cloister. The outcomes of this work were showcased in two virtual exhibitions, one featuring the students' models and another curated by Maria Nazario in 2022, which presents a dynamic narrative of the past and present within a virtual environment. Further work by Leonard Antunes studied the living quarters of the 16th century in 2023 based on an examination of other case studies and an in-depth study of the Notician's diaries. Several questions remain about the original church upon reflecting on the objects that could have belonged within the church's wall. With regard to the augmented reality application realized for the Bayesian-Curvelo hypothesis, and thus within the manual room, we undertook laser scanning and photogrammetric acquisition of the spaces and objects that were to be relocated virtually in the space. At the same time, historical research was undertaken to increase awareness of the ancient spaces. Once data and information had been obtained, we moved on the realization of the 3D model inserted within Unity and with Vuforia, together with several customized scripts to increase interaction with the application. It was possible to build the final application. For the reconstruction of the architectural and material layout, a series of pictorial and archaeological elements were used to consolidate the hypotheses made. As for the columns, the flooring and the geometry of the ceiling, it was possible to take the reference from the painting St. Francis delivers the statute. For the decorations on the wall, an archaeological remnant found inside the room in 2013 was taken as a reference, as was the case for the Capitol, of which it was possible to create a 3D model from the archaeological remnants. Once the ancient architectural composition of the church was realized, it was necessary to make a reconnaissance of what was present inside. Starting from the high altar, it was possible to determine the presence of an altarpiece that was initially referred to the Seven Sorrows in the first years after construction, but was later replaced by one referring to the joys of Mary. Another altarpiece is the Saint Auta altarpiece, which held the relics of the saint. Probably the most important piece in the entire church is the tabernacle made by Andrea della Robbia, now in the National Museum of Ancient Art in Lisbon. A high-resolution digital photogrammetry of the tabernacle was carried out using polarized lenses to diminish the errors caused by the high gloss of the beautiful tabernacle. The recomposition between the base and the real tabernacle is only visual because the two pieces are currently in different places. The side altar of Madre de Deus for which less information is available, has nonetheless been the subject of a hypothesis developed together in conversation with Pius. These are a 3D model of angels, probably part of the ancient altar. The IgrejAR application can be downloaded free of charge from the official stores. By framing the manual and clicking on the objects, it will be possible to display information panels containing all the information necessary for understanding the 3D reconstructions, allowing the public to visit the 16th century monastery for the first time.